Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to our June 15th board meeting. The last one of our fiscal year. Ms. Gino will be doing the invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I'd like to introduce everyone to a great friend of mine and real distinguished minister of Robeson County, and you've been a great resource in the school system in every way possible. I'm going to introduce you now to Mr. Reverend David Lockley.
Thank you, Brother Henry, and thank you for inviting me. This is a very important time we're living in. It's so important now that we focus on education more, and I know y'all know that. I was just thinking how the education word has brought us all to, not just one person, but because of education, because of knowledge, and we know that God gives knowledge. The Bible said, anyone like knowledge, wisdom, let them ask of God. And that because of that, we are so advanced, all of us, and think about where we come from, where we're at. But the thing is, it's such a great challenge. But with the help of God, we can meet that challenge. Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we do thank you, the Lord, as we come, the Lord, at this time, the Lord, and we just thank you, Lord, for them just and allow me to come here and just say a few words, dear God. But God, we just want to just pray for our children, God. We lift them up to you, and God, help that they would realize truly that all knowledge and wisdom comes from you, God. So I just pray for them, dear God, that you would just help us during this dark time, that even though it's so a time of darkness, but because of education and because we can be enlightened, dear Lord, because of education, our lives can be better and their lives can be better. I hope they can see the need to continue and to go to school and learn all they can. So we just pray for them, God, and we pray for the families. We pray for the mothers, fathers. We pray for the grandchildren. The Lord, we pray for them. We know it's a time now, the Lord, they face critical times and tough times. But God, we know with your help, God, we can do all things through you, God. And so we pray for the parents, not only the parents, but God, we pray, God, for the board members. We thank you, God, for them, their labor and what they do and what they give, and all the teachers, dear God. Lord, help them to keep focused as they continue, the Lord, to work to help to improve the lives of the children, not only the children, but the whole world. So we lift them up to you as we come before you, God, and we just ask all this in the name of Jesus. Amen and amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Locklear. Next item is going to be adopted of agenda.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Got a motion by Mr. Lawson to adopt the agenda, second by Mr. Craig and Mr. Gentry. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed. Information items, children nutrition, help, and inspection. Ms. Charlene Locklear.
Good evening, Chairman Simmons, Dr. Williamson, board members. Ms. Charlene was unable to be with us tonight, so we're going to recognize 11 schools that received a perfect score on their last inspection. As everyone knows, the cafeterias receive health inspections from our health department 2 to 4 times a year. The inspections are part of our FDA food code. Grade A inspections are a result of a clean, up-to-code, free violation. Inspections consist of 56 different inspection items, including cooking, holding and storing temperatures, and properly working equipment. All Robeson County cafeterias maintain an HAACP plan that is a management system in which food safety is addressed through the analysis and control of biological, chemical, and physical hazards from raw materials, procurement and handling to manufacturing, distribution, and consumption of the finished products. So the schools that ended with a perfect score this year are Littlefield Middle, manager Betty Ryan, Long Branch Elementary, Manager Sandra Leggett. Orm Middle, Manager Shayna Seals. St. Paul's Elementary, Manager Shayna Hunt. St. Paul's High, Manager Michelle Jacobs. St. Paul's Middle, Manager Scotty Jones. South Robeson Middle, Victoria Forster. South Robeson Southside Aspo, Maddie Stackhouse. Tanglewood Elementary, Lynetta Rogers. Union Elementary, Glenda Locklear. And finally, W.H. Knuckles, Aaron Sampson. So we would like to thank these managers and their staff for this last inspection of receiving a perfect score.
Thank you, Mr. Bobby. Next is recognition for 60 years of service, Ms. Melissa Thompson.
Good evening, Chairman Simmons, Superintendent Williamson, remaining board members. At this time, I'd like to ask all of our board members to please come to the front. Back. So tonight, it is my honor to recognize to you all a lady who has 60 years of teaching experience. 60 years, that is absolutely amazing. Miss Lucille Ward, will you please come forward? You know, I am so excited because the end of June marks my 30th year in education. And this young lady has 60 years. I just cannot imagine another 30 years. So we're so proud of you. We're so honored to have you in our system. We thank you for everything you've done for our boys and girls, our community, our schools. And the award is congratulations, Lucille Ward, in honor of your 60 years of outstanding commitment, selflessness, dedicated service to the education of your students and the public schools of Robeson County. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Ward, again, congratulations. I bet you and I are probably the only ones in this room that know where the old Garland High School exists.
I know where it is.
Her first teaching job was in Sampson County at Garland High School. 3 years. Yep. So
And they wouldn't give me a contract because I was pregnant.
their loss. That's their loss. That's
But
right.
that was the law.
That's congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Board members, please.
you. Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank you.
for all that you've done.
Well, hey, Randy.
Wow, it's amazing.
Come back this way, Miss Ward. You don't get your
Hey, there.
Good boy. What? Yes. Yeah, does he have a brother?
You get a picture with the board, and I'll put it back in the office.
Everyone join me in saying thank you and
Come on,
congratulations.
Louise. Come on in, y'all. Yeah, come on in, please.
Need to slide down?
Thank you, sir. I
Thank you for
appreciate
everything.
it.
Invite us to the wedding now.
Thank you.
Okay.
What did you hit your button again?
Okay. I'd just like to say that Miss Ward taught me in school at Orem. I was class of 1983 at Orem. And what a privilege it is for me and her both to, for me serving on the board and her retiring. Think a lot of her and all of her family. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, next item is gonna be the Brave Scholarship, Dr. Cora and Ms. Hawkins.
Good evening, Chairman Simmons, Superintendent Williamson, and board members. We'd like to turn over this presentation to UNCP, Ms. Frances Cummings, for the Brave Scholars.
Board members, let's go back. We'll be up there now.
It's an honor to stand before you to represent UNC Pembroke and the School of Education. My name is Francine Cummings, and I serve as the Brave Scholars Coordinator. The Brave Scholars Program is a new need-based scholarship program in partnership with Columbus County Schools, the public schools of Robeson County, Scotland County Schools, and Wyville City Schools. This program is designated for future elementary education and special education teachers who commit to returning to these communities to teach in Southeast North Carolina in one of our partner districts following graduation. This scholarship is focused on allowing students to receive an education without going into debt with student loans. Providing last dollar funding, students will receive an up to estimated $18,000 per year to cover the costs incurred as they seek their education. This scholarship covers more than the cost of tuition, though. Additional benefits include student fees, residential housing in our customized living and learning community, a meal plan, monthly professional development opportunities, conferences, and international opportunities. So basically, the only things our students would have to pay for is their parking pass to stay on campus. Students selected for this program had to complete an application, which included an essay, video submission, providing 2 letters of recommendation, and an in-person interview. For the public schools of Robeson County, we are excited to have 4 outstanding recipients of this scholarship. All 4 of these ladies show a desire to become an educator and to come back to serve their communities and be an inspiration for the next generation, similar to what they had the opportunity to have. The 2023 recipients of the Brave Scholars Program Scholarship for the public schools of Robeson County are Kenzie Chavis from Lumberton Senior High School, Lauren Lamb from Lumberton Senior High School, Hannah Pearson from Fairmont Senior High School, and Tessa Morgan from Red Springs High School.
Congratulations. That's right up here. You get right here, sweetheart. There we go. Where's the big boss? You better come on here. Come on, big boss. Right here. Where's Mr. Brady?
Other students?
You gotta get where you can be seen.
Good afternoon, Chairman Simmons, Superintendent Williamson, Dr. Williamson, and board members. The other presentation that we have for our Gates Millennium, Mr. Cameron Shea Graham is the son of R.S. Graham and Sabrina Graham. Cameron will graduate from Purnell Sweat High School tomorrow and earn his diploma. He is going to receive honors for summa cum laude and plans to also go to the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. During his time at Purnell Sweat, he served on the National Art Society, was the junior marshal and a member of the American Indian Student Association, a member of the Beta Club and National Honor Society. And throughout high school, he has always desired to go to school to be a physical therapist. So at UNCP in the fall, he will earn his bachelor's degree in 4 years for pre-physical therapy with a minor in business, with plans for long-term to go to medical school and obtain a doctorate degree in physical therapy. He has interest in opening up his own clinic and helping to serve his community and anyone who might need help and access help for healthcare. Cameron is excited to be an NC Gates Millennium Scholar and strive for something that is great in his future and leave a legacy for others to follow. So at this time, Mr. Cameron Shea Graham, will you come forward?
Right here. I'll use some of that smartness right there. Big matters.
Yes, ma'am. Whatever you say. Good evening, Chairman Simmons, Dr. Williamson, board members. It gives me great pleasure to stand before each of you on this evening, recognizing the achievements of our coaches, players, and teams as they represented the public schools of Robeson County Athletic Department in an honorable fashion during the 2022-2023 school year. We should all be very proud of our athletes. This year, we witnessed history being made in the middle school, while on the high school level, we produced 10 conference coaches of the year, 1 Region 4 coach of the year, 13 conference players of the year, 8 regular season conference champions, 3 conference tournament champions, 6 Eastern Regional champions, 3 state champions, 18 students selected to the all-region team, 14 athletes selected to the all-state team. We had 1 Shrine Bowl MVP and 4 athletes, 3 basketball and 1 football selected to the East-West All-Star Game, which will be held in Greensboro, July the 17th through the 19th. This year, we witnessed the dominancy in female sports as South Robeson Lady Mustangs won volleyball, basketball, and softball conference tournament champions. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think this has ever been done in the history of Robeson County Middle School athletics. On May 17th, Tony Chavis and I presented the South Robeson Lady Mustangs with a plaque during their athletic awards program. This plaque represented that they were labeled as the best Robeson County athletic middle school during the 2022-2023 sports year. Just to recognize a few of the middle school champions, in the fall, we had football, St. Paul's Middle, volleyball with South Robeson Middle. During the winter sports, we had girls basketball with South Robeson Middle, boys basketball was Lumberton Junior High. During the spring, we had regular season champion softball, Pembroke Middle, softball conference tournament champion, South Robeson Middle, baseball regular season champion, Pembroke Middle, baseball conference tournament champion, Prospect Middle, girls soccer regular season champion, Pembroke Middle, girls soccer conference tournament champion, Southeastern Academy, boys soccer regular season champion, Pembroke Middle, boys soccer conference tournament champion was Lumberton Junior High. Let's congratulate all the coaches, players, managers, parents who played a role in making this middle school sports season a success. At this time, we will be recognizing our high school accomplishments. As I call your name, please come forward to receive your award. If the recipient is not present, if a family member or school personnel could come forward and accept this award on their behalf. We're going to start with the... Okay. We're going to start with Players of the Year. We have first Kiara Campbell, representing the SAC 7 track Female Player of the Year from Fairmont High School. Next, we have Zandra Upson, SAC 7 Field Female Co-Player of the Year, Fairmont High School. Monica Washington, SAC 7 Field Female Co-Player of the Year, Red Springs High School. Tiara Stewart, the United 8 Softball Player of the Year, Lumberton High School. Malachi Gales, United 8 Baseball Player of the Year, Purnell Sweat High School. And now I'll be recognizing the Coaches of the Year. First, we have Malcolm Register, United 8 Softball Coach of the Year, Lumberton High School. Next, we have Jeff Lamb, United 8 Baseball Coach of the Year, Purnell Sweat High School. Next, we have Rachel Deal, United 8 Girls Bowling Coach of the Year, Lumberton High School. Now we'll be recognizing our team winners, either conference or tournament champions. First, we have Lumberton Boys Soccer, United 8 Conference and Tournament Champion. Lumberton Women Tennis, United 8 Conference Champions. Lumberton Boys Wrestling, United 8 Conference and Tournament Champions. Lumberton Women Wrestling, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association State Championship. Lumberton Cheerleading, United 8 Game Day Conference Champion. Lumberton Softball, United 8 Conference Regular Season Tri-Champions. Pernell Sweat Girls Bowling, United 8 Conference Champion. Pernell Sweat Baseball Team, United 8 Conference Regular Season Co-Champions. Hey, Shy. What's up?
Get out of the way.
Next, we have Pernell Sweat. Next, we have Pernell Sweat Tennis, United 8 Doubles Conference Champion. St. Paul's High School Cheerleaders. Oh, you coming? Okay. It's okay. Next, we have St. Paul's Cheerleaders, North Carolina High School Athletic Association State Champions.
Where's your friend?
No, sons are gonna be the kid.
Come on, Mrs. Sanders.
The real principal, come on, Sam.
I think you should too. He feel like Mrs. Sanders can do this, my baby. That's better than his side.
Get on that side, Sam. Okay, the real principal, get on that side. I said this, now you can't block it, let girls. You can't block this. Get on that side, now you blocking the girls, Sam. No, but-
St. Paul's Girls Basketball, SAC 7 Conference Regular Season Co-Champions. Stay up here. St. Paul's Boys Basketball Team, SAC 7 Conference Tournament Champions. Fairmont girls basketball team, SAC 7 conference regular season co-champions. And now we will be presenting the East-West All-Star participants. First, we have Jamil Brockington, boys basketball, Lumberton High School. Kylie Chavis, girls basketball, Purnell Sweat High School. Natalie Evanton, girls basketball, Purnell Sweat High School. Jacoby Chavis, football, Purnell Sweat High School. We also had a Shrine Bowl participant who also was the Shrine Bowl MVP, Kimarion Baldwin, football, St. Paul's High School.
It's in school.
And he could not be with us tonight because he's already enrolled in school. At James Madison? Okay, thank you. And finally, the regional champions. First, we have Monica Washington. She won track and field discus, Red Springs High School. Ayana Crawford, wrestling, Purnell Sweat High School. Yes. And now we have Fairmont High School 4x1 relay team. If you all could come forward. We have on this team Donovan Brown, Emmanuel Brown, Trevilius Leach, and Jameer Jones. And they have individuals too. They should have individuals. Each one of them should have an individual. Yes. And at this time, I would like to recognize a young lady that was left off, but we're going to make it right. Miss Hope Morgan. She won the high jump region champion from St. Paul's High School. Congratulations to all of you. Also, Zandra Upson, She won the regionals for the shot put. So we would definitely make that right. Make sure she get her plaque. And thanks for letting me know.
Let's see where we at. Yep. Mr. Craig want to make an announcement right quick.
Thank you, Chairman Simmons. Mr. John Langley, he worked with our school system at Red Springs Middle, Fir Grove Middle, South Robeson also, and Prospect. He was a teacher and coach in 3 of those schools for several years, and he passed away on June 4th. And his wife is Miss Terry Langley, who still works with us in the online area. So I just asked if we could have a moment of silence for Mr. Langley. Thank you. And he was retired military before he came to us.
Okay, next item is on Kelly Education. Miss Erica, Miss Melissa, and Mr. Al represent.
Good evening, Chairman Simmons, Superintendent Williamson, members of the board. As you know, we are looking at a new program for our substitute staffing, and we brought this to our finance committee. And we decided we needed more information and a little more time for research. Tonight, we have with us Mr. Al Tashira, and he will speak with you tonight on the substitute staffing program. If you have any additional questions, we would like for you to ask those at this time. Mr. Al Tashira.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Dr. Williamson, distinguished board members, thank you for the opportunity to partner with the school district. As you may or may not know, this country has been going through a severe educator shortage, and Kelly Education has been able to fill that void and ensure that teaching and learning continues even in this educator shortage period that we find ourselves in. We have been fortunate enough to be able to engage your leadership team and share with them our experiences, which go back from the founding of education staffing 26 years ago when we introduced the concept to education. Ever since then, we've been focused on what's most important to you, which is to ensure that teaching and learning occurs even when a teacher is not present. This evening, I am here to answer any of your questions. We've provided a proposal. We believe it's been thoroughly vetted by your leadership as well as your board members. Earlier today, we were fortunate to have about 70 building principals as well as bookkeepers to ask their questions about the program. We're confident that we're able to meet and even exceed your expectations when it comes to providing the kinds of support that you need to ensure, once again, that teaching and learning occurs. Thank you for your time.
Anyone have any questions? Dr. Manuel?
Mr. Chair, I don't have a question. I have a motion.
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we move this to an action item, but I did want to make a comment. Listening to the presentation this afternoon, the staff thoroughly asked questions. They asked all the questions I had. You know, I was hesitant the last time it was presented. I feel confident that they're willing to explore this and they feel that it will make their lives easier. So I'm asking that it be moved to an action item and we'll approve it.
Okay, got a motion? Got a motion by Dr. Manuel. Let me write this down. Second by Mr. Henry. Any other questions for Mr. Gentry?
How much lead time is?
It's on. Hit your button again.
How much lead time is needed administratively to get everything ready and put into place for operational purposes?
On average, a district of your size, about 6 weeks to 8 weeks. We've done it in shorter time when we have a willing partner, and that's what we're seeking, a willing partner. However, if it should go longer, we will make sure that we meet at least the start date of back to school.
Mr. Terry?
Would it be possible for us to pilot this at a couple of schools before going district-wide?
Unfortunately, that is not an option, given the fact that we would need to transition each one of the existing employees and then begin to build a pool from there. So they become a Kelly employee at that point. However, I will, and quite frankly, logistically, it becomes a challenge because we don't know which schools are in the pilot versus the non-schools would be able to draw from the pool. So what I would share though is that should you decide to partner with Kelly, we do give you an option to terminate the contract within 30 days. So that is always an option, although we would obviously do all that we can to ensure that we're meeting your expectations.
What would be your rate of contract termination?
Pardon?
Do you have any statistics or any numbers on the rate of systems that choose to terminate early?
On an average basis, we retain over 92% of our existing customer base. I think if you're in the business world, you would think that an 80% retention rate is a good number.
Mr. Curry?
Chairman Simmons, I was at the meeting this afternoon and we did a voice vote and they raised their hands. And basically the question was, is the system we have now working? And this room here was filled with principals, people at school that handle the sub situation. And it was overwhelming that they said what we have is not working. So for me, based on what their response was, since they're the ones that deal with it, I would be in favor of looking at this and going with this.
Anyone else? Okay, excuse me. All in favor by saying aye? Aye. All opposed? It's action item now.
Mr. Chair, and if we can place that as our first action item, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next is on the agenda is, I'm sorry, any other questions? Next item on the agenda is policy 2200, Mr. Craig.
Chairman Simmons, Dr. Williamson and board members. This is about a comment that I said I was going to make after we met last July. You have a copy of the policy 2200, and I'm not going to read that. It's in your package. You can look at that, which all it says is we will elect a chairman and a vice chairman in July of each year. And my comment really is not for any question tonight, unless you want to ask me something. But there's an unwritten policy that's been here for, I think, since this current board existed as PSRC, that the chairman and vice chairmanship was rotated by race, each of those positions. And there's been a couple of times I think that didn't happen, but it has generally happened, I think, since this board has been in place. And so I'm just asking, just for thought, because we will elect in July. Are we going to go back to that rotation? Or are we not going to go to that rotation and we're just going to elect? And whoever's elected, regardless of race, will get the position. And if that is the case, just be aware, if there's any problems or anything comes down the line, that at some time and point, we're going to elect 2 Native Americans, 2 blacks, or 2 Caucasians. There's not going to be a rotation. And if everybody's okay with that, so be it. But I think last year when it come up, it was a surprise. And like I said, it's in the policy here that doesn't have to be done. All the policy says is we have to elect someone. But I did want to bring that out, that had been an unwritten policy, I'm going to say, for the history of this board. And I'm throwing it out for thought. If somebody wants to ask me a question, I'll try to answer.
For me, Mr. Craig,
Yes, sir.
I don't care if it's 2 blacks, 2 natives, 2 whites, whatever. I want the one who the board in general feels that's capable of leading us to whatever we're trying to achieve. That's how I feel about it. Like I said, I don't care if it's 2 of the same race or not. That doesn't bother me, because when you go to the polls and vote, or they go to the polls and vote for you, they vote for the most qualified candidate. But that's my personal opinion.
And I understand that, Mr. Simmons. And I guess my biggest issue is I would just have loved that to have been talked about last year before we voted. And if that's what happened, so be it. That was my concern last year. There was no discussion prior, and it happened the way it did. And if that's what it's going to be, and we get the best person, so be it. We go on. I'll go on. Thank you.
Ms. Ocean?
Okay, so, and Mr. Craig, I don't have a question for you, but I do have a comment. Coming on this board last July, to me, it was mind-blowing that a policy, unspoken policy like this was still in place in this day and age. At this point, I think it's outdated. It's not anything I ever agreed to. Like you said, it was from the history of the board. And the board has a history of making bad decisions. And things nothing works that way anymore, or shouldn't be working that way. I didn't agree to it. I don't agree to it now. As John stated, whoever is the best, is the most fit to lead is who I'm going to vote for. And I don't care if it's what the race is, it's whomever is qualified. And that's what it should be. So yeah, that thing with the gentleman's agreement, I never agreed to that. And I don't want the public thinking that this was something like an unspoken thing that we came into knowledgeable of, because I had no knowledge of it. And I don't stand for that.
Mr. Trey?
I was going to second what Melissa said and what John said. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see the color thing as well. I just want what's best for the students and teachers of Robeson County at the end of the day. We can throw the rest of that stuff all to the side. And I weren't at the table when the gentleman's agreement was made years ago, but I'll even tell you point blank, John Simmons can second this. I was a teacher at Lumberton High School. Didn't have no aspirations of it. I knew one day I maybe wanted to be in this position. That man was a school resource officer at Lumberton High School. Me being a teacher, I knew he was getting ready to retire. I went to him one day, and what did I tell you? I said, you'd be a great school board member for the public schools of Robeson County. Not knowing we'd be serving on this board together, but at that day and time, I didn't even look at color then. I want what's best for the students and teachers. Bottom line, that's it.
Mr. Gentry?
As a governmental and political entity, I think we have an unwritten responsibility to model working together. Yes, we are a mixture, a blend of races, and different thought patterns. But I think first and foremost, we need to consider our constituency and model for them what we would like to see happen throughout our county. And so therefore, I'm in favor of the way that what we have in place at this time going forward.
And Mr.
John,
Get Dr. May.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to take you back to some history, and I don't want you to chastise people for what they were trying to do. Go back to merger. When we merged 5 school systems. And I think there was an attempt back in those days for it to be all inclusive, to include all races. And that, I think, was an unwritten attempt to do that. I don't think anybody was trying to be racist, or it was an attempt to bring people together and let each race be represented. It was unwritten, but I think that was the thing then. It was after merger. And maybe it continued too long, maybe or maybe not, I'm not sure. But that was the attempt back during, I'm so old that I can remember those wounds back then when we merged. And everybody had a stake in it then. They wanted, I want my people represented, I want my people represented, I want my people represented. So that's where it came from during merger.
Mr. Craig?
And I'll just add this, I would not let nobody paint me in the corner as being racist. I can look at my career and I'll put it up anywhere, anytime with anybody. I mentioned this because of just what had happened and I had been asked to mention. So that's why I did it. And I just wanted to put it out front. If we're going by the policy and we're just going to elect, I'm fine with that. So like I said, and whatever it is, that's what it is. Like Dr. Manuel said, this was something, maybe it should have been changed a long time ago, but it wasn't. And I said, I brought it up because of not knowing last year when we come to the meeting. But if we're going to elect next month and whoever gets it, that's fine with me. But like I said, for me, I'm not going to let someone paint me in a corner because of what I know I've done all my life. And if you've ever seen me and seen what I've done with people, you know, I can do a lot of things, and a lot of things I do, and color has nothing to do with it. And I'll say that anywhere and anytime. Thank you.
I have to agree with Mr. Craig. I hope nobody thinks he's racist. Mr. Craig took me in as one of his own, and he didn't see color. So I hope nobody thinks that he's racist, because he's not. Somebody else said it. Social.
And Mr. Craig, and from what I said, that wasn't a slug issue. I don't think you're racist, but I'm feeling this policy is just outdated. That's my view on it. I'm not saying anyone on this board is racist or biased by any means. We're here for the best, what's the betterment of our children and our communities. So that wasn't the intent. So I hope you don't feel that we're trying to paint you as racist, because I'm not. Okay. Oh, well, when they do their own thing on social media, so.
Mr. Henry?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to say that I'm 100% for, the majority rule, the better representation capability. But, unilaterally, when we promote or whatever, I've always asked that we be conscious of decisions that we make because of reflections. But that doesn't necessarily say that, and I know Superintendent and I have talked, and we always try to make the best decision for the best qualified. Right now, I have mixed opinion either way. I just think what's right for the kids is the best thing for us to do. It's just, like you said, Chairman Simmons, it's gonna come to a time that there's gonna be domination, and we're gonna have to work together and live with it. But I think this is a good collaborative team here that's working together.
Mr. Leach?
I just, just sat here and just listen. and, you know, just listen to everybody make their opinion and stuff. Some of the same board members that sat here when it was also an unwritten rule that we should have an African-American on the cabinet, and it was not did. And the same board members told me to get over it. They told people to get over it, and on the same board members that got an issue and a problem right now. That just makes me feel some type of way. That just don't sit well with me. So I cannot sit here and just let people say one thing when you have short memories. 3 years ago or 2 years ago, when we sat in the room and we said we want to, everybody got to be represented. That's what was said. And then we want a group won't represent, they told the group to get over. That's all I got to say about that.
Mr. Terry?
I would just like for all of us to think for 1 second, about our student population. And this is something, what I'm about to say is something that I've never, that if it's been said at a board meeting, it went over my head, and I haven't heard this point being made widely. If you look at our student population, American Indians is our largest population. The second largest population is Black, and the third largest population is Hispanic. So I just want to throw that out there and make us all aware that demographics throughout the county is changed significantly since this board was formed. So we all might want to just keep that in the back of our heads and think about it, because we're having these conversations. One day it's going to be sooner than it's been. It's going to be sooner than later that we're going to have a Hispanic representative sitting around this table, and it may be more than one. So we may want to just think about that during our decision-making and thought-making process.
I feel like a lot do. Let me just say this. In the past, as far as it stands now, other than Mike, I've been on this board the longest. And over the years, 10 years, I'll say, I got a phone call from a Native American when it was their turn. This past year, I didn't receive a phone call. So when I say that, I'm saying this. In life, things change for the good and the bad. I'm here to support the public schools of Robeson County. I have Native American friends because I was put in this position by my peers on this board. I was lashed out at and everything else, and I'm not going to go there. Okay, I'm above that. But I will say this right here. The thing about race and picking people as it is, and I believe I served on the board one time when Mike Smith served 2 terms. I served under you, Mr. Craig, and every other, Mr. Bosco. I supported Mr. Bosco Locklear when he was chairman. So I say that to say this. As far as the race card, I don't care anything about that. I deal with hundreds of people a day, and all of them are the same to me. That the color don't matter to me. So I'm gonna just leave it there, John.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
Sometimes in Robeson County, you can hear conversations, and it seems like the overall feeling is that we're behind. It's almost like, we're behind the times, or we're behind other counties or other areas. But in all actuality, if you think about it and you look at our demographics, we are the future. I mean, more places, more counties, more districts are going to be more diverse in the future. So with 4 races, I mean, we're essentially 4 races in this county. If we're not behind, if we can get it together and we can get past, I'm not just talking about the school board, I'm talking about Robeson County and politics in Robeson County in general. If we can get past that, if we can get through all of these historical aspects that's sort of maybe served us well in the past, but it's probably not going to serve us well in the future. So if we can figure out how to maneuver these waters and use this to our advantage, instead of being the past, we're going to be the future. We're going to have people from other districts coming to us and saying, how in the world did y'all get through that? And how did you make it? And how did you make it work to the benefit of everyone? So I would just like for us to consider that as well. Thank you.
Ms. Ocean?
And this is going to be the last thing that I'm going to say about this. I don't think we're behind. Our thought process is behind. Just as you stated, Mr. Locklear, we have a huge demographic. And what we took an oath to do was serve the entire demographic. So, and I think, and I feel like in this work, some demographics are not being serviced or served properly. So when we say things and when we make statements or when we send out communications, we need to make sure and be very, very strategic about what we say and make sure that everyone is included. You can't lean towards one population of students and leave out these other subcultures because everybody needs to be represented. So, and that's what we took an oath to do. That's what I plan to do. I don't seek race. I serve everyone in my district the same. And I hope, and I feel like everyone else is doing the same, and I hope it continues in that manner. We can't cater to one group of people. Everyone deserves the same chances. Everyone deserves the same amenities. And what you provide to one group should be provided to the next group. And I'm going to leave it like that. And John, can you get somebody to get some air on in here because I'm about to have a stroke.
Yeah. Ms. Paddock, turn the air conditioner on. Was you going to say something? Okay. Any other questions? Terry?
I'm just going to have to say one more thing. I talk about the American Indian population quite a bit, but I try to frame, like Mr. Craig said, it was an unwritten thing, and I think everybody agreed on it, in the past. But when I discuss the American Indian population, I talk about it in terms of what's being legislated in Raleigh, what the law is out of DC. So if there's a perception that one population tries to push another population over another one, we need to try to work beyond that. And like I said, once we get it together, we'll be a beacon for the future for other districts that may be in a similar situation in the future.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Next item is going to be the new accountability. Oh, Dr. Carr.
Mr. Chairman and members, I think we have our brave scholars, the other three recipients. If we can meet at the podium, please.
I apologize. There was a miscommunication. They were told 6 o'clock. So we have Ms. Lauren Lamb from Lumberton High School who will be studying special education, and Ms. Kenzie Chavis from Lumberton High School who will be studying elementary education.
Am I here? Oh, it's important.
Congratulations.
May I have a comment, please? I just want to add that Kenzie is also the recipient of the Anne Marie Gentry Memorial Scholarship, and very proud of her. I've gotten to know her a little bit, and she's going to make an excellent student and an excellent citizen. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Dawn has.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Simmons, Superintendent Williamson, and board members. Tonight, I'm going to give a little update on the school performance grade redesign that is currently occurring. Currently, schools are, and everybody should have this handout that you see up there in your packet. And so currently, schools are pretty much entirely graded on student scores, so state standardized tests. So what that means is 80% of it is based on state outcomes, so how they perform on the EOG, and 20% of it is based on growth. And so then they receive a grade that you see here. Under the current system, nearly half of the schools in the state are DRF schools. So what the state decided is during the pandemic, they noticed that there was something flawed with the model that we are currently using. So they developed a goal of actually looking at multi-measures to re-image what school performance looks like beyond just compliance with federal guidelines, but also what represents that we do here in North Carolina. So part of that was them looking at different models or different pieces that could be utilized to support school performance. And so they designed and started really researching different things that they could use, such as school climate, the portrait of a graduate, school safety, parent engagement. And what they did is took feedback from a variety of stakeholders, including superintendents, board members from the state. They also used a lot of different people, such as committees and different groups that they saw. They looked at charter school leadership, they looked at teacher leadership, AIG regional leadership, and used these advisory council to really design 8 pieces that they would start researching and looking into to see if these would really be pieces that could be used for the upcoming new redesign. And so what you'll see on the next page at the top, there are 8 measures they decided to look into. So 8 potential indicators, 4 of them academic and 4 school quality. So those 4 include extended high school graduation rate, where they're looking really at the 5-year cohort graduation rate, not just the 4-year, improving student group performance, post-secondary outcomes. So they're looking at our students after they leave our schools getting employed, enlisted, or enrolled in a school, and post-secondary inputs. So when you think about post-secondary inputs, they're really looking at, are we doing career exploration? Do we have prep classes? Are we providing certifications? Are students getting those CTE certifications that we've looked at? And then what you'll see is school quality indicators. So do we provide extra intracurricular activities? Do we have durable skills? So if you think about those soft skills necessary to be successful in the job. Looking at chronic absenteeism, and then school climate. So school climate would be such things as doing a teacher, parent, and student survey. So currently what the state is doing is they have created work groups that are from, utilize people from all across the state from every different county. There's several of us in this county that are serving on those work groups to see, are these feasible potential indicators? So they're researching to see, will these indicators work, and what tools would they use to really assess if this was successful in a district. And so they're going to complete that portion of looking at that as far as, is it valid, reliable, and feasible through data collection sources by January 2024. The hope is then that they will take that to the General Assembly in February of 24, and then potentially pilot what they put together in 24-25. So a new model may come by 25-26. So this is not a quick process, but they have put these new pieces out to help us look at the whole school, not just at test scores and one day in one student's life. Any questions?
Hit your mic. You found out, man.
I'm not all together tonight. I don't have a question, I have a comment. It reminds me of the accreditation process because they look at so many variables when they're evaluating the school. So that's good. To me, it seems fair with students and schools and scoring their proficiency. I hope, so it's not, you don't think it's viable to 25, 26?
Right now, yes, because they want to pilot for a year first. So 24, 25 would be the pilot year. And then 25, 26 is the goal to start implementing.
So we get stuck with other pilots. How can we get in this pilot?
They have not mentioned that yet. All they're doing right now is still working through the work groups to see which one of if these all will be feasible and able to be actually used as
Mr.
indicators.
Superintendent, I challenge you to let us pilot this. You get up there and cheerlead for us to pilot, because we have to pilot every hard thing, every new test, everything. So let us pilot this. Give us a break.
There's no question that we would benefit
Yeah.
from this model, no question.
Yes.
So we will, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Craig?
Dr. Carl, let me ask this first. With these new guidelines, will they be changing the percentages of the performance and growth? Is that looking to be changed?
That's what they're looking at, but they have not made, of course, any
Have that.
final decisions until they really get into what
Okay.
each one and how they can count each one.
Okay, my follow-up, I won't stay on it long. Testing is one of my pet peeves with the state of North Carolina, but it's never going away. We're gonna always have to test kids. That's just gonna be done. But I've just always thought it was ridiculous that we test kids on one day and based on what they do that day, they were success or failure. It didn't matter what happened the 9 months prior. And it's always been an issue of mine. It probably always will be. And then the fact that, and Mr. Bobby, you tell me if I'm wrong, and Dr. Carr, it's 80% performance and 20% growth, which it kills us. That you can have a kid that's a number one and they could go up 15 points and they're still a 2. So it hasn't helped us from that performance standpoint. They had growth, but it only counted 20%. So I'm thankful that we got people on this committee, and if y'all can get another 10 or 15 on it, I'd be even more happy. Whatever the meat, it can be done with all these indicators, but to get this 80-20, it needs to go. Now, again, I'm only speaking for me. That's just me. If we could go 50-50, I think it would help us greatly, because we had kids that took the retest this week, and some of those kids went up maybe 10 points. They're still a 1 or 2. That 10 points, some of the growth might have been more than that, but they're still a 1 or 2. And then, quote unquote, that kid's a failure this year. And then you read on Facebook, I will use it this time, where somebody's graduating this year, they failed the EOG 4 or 5 times over the years, and now they got $20,000 in scholarships going to college. So this one-day testing thing and then saying that you're going to be a failure, to me, it's just always been a problem. So whatever they could do to make that fair to kids, and I'll use this last one, it's always been one of mine, my whole year as an administrator, all my years, I never seen a day that kids did not get sick. I mean, literally sick. Throwing up, whatever the case, every time we test it. And it still goes on. And to me, it's just a problem putting kids through that kind of situation. Now, even adults, who wants to go take a test after you've done something, okay, you taking this test today. Now, we're gonna always have a test, like I said, but just say, try to make it fair. So whatever y'all can do that's on this committee, and I'm like Dr. Emanuel, let us pilot this. We do a bunch of them. Hey, we'll learn how to do it. We do a bunch of them. Let us pilot this and find out how it's supposed to be done, and then they can come look at us. Thank you. That was my rant. I had to get that in with what she said.
Mr. Gentry?
How will this be integrated into the student's GPA or their cumulative record in any way?
That's not part of this. This is for the accountability model, not for individual students and affecting how they would be graded or scored.
Anyone else? Thank you, Dr. Carr. Mr. Craig wanted to make an announcement about the EOG. That was it? Okay, all right. Okay, public comment. I only have one, Mr. Doug McBroom.
I have a comment, but I didn't sign up, so can I say something?
You have to sign up.
I just found out about this meeting.
Oh, that's done. You will have to sign up, sir. That's our policy. It's on our website and comes on what, a week before? Mr. Bob, you can address it, please.
So the form to fill out for public comments is generally posted 2 weeks prior to our regularly scheduled board meeting. And also, if you're unable to fill out that link, Ms. Patty also has paper copies. Again, that 2-week time frame stays in place for filling out the paper copy with Ms. Patty as well.
Next is the action item, the Kelly education. Dr. May?
Do I need to make the motion again?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept for the school system the Kelly substitute program system-wide to hire substitutes for our schools.
Okay, I got a motion by Dr. Manuel to accept Kelly Education as our substitute for the entire county. Second by Mr. Henry. All in favor, saying aye. Aye. The green, sir.
Mr. Chair, this should be approved subject to legal review. So we have an opportunity to look at the review of the contract.
Do I make the motion again?
Yeah, just add that legal.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Kelly Education Services for our substitute, pending approval by our lawyer. Is that good enough, Mr. Lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, we got a motion by Dr. Manuel to approve the Kelly Education. Once the attorney looks over it, second by Mr. Brewer. All in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next is the EC provider contract list. Dr. Carr.
Chairman Simmons, Superintendent Williamson, and board members, in your packet, you had received a list of providers that we use for providing EC services, including behavioral service, deaf of hard of hearing, psychological services, visual impairment, physical therapy, occupational therapy, interpreters, audiology service, speech services. What I'm asking for is approval of these contracts pending legal review.
Mr. Lawson.
Make a motion to approve the EC providers contract list for 2023, 2024, per legal review.
Okay. Got a motion by Mr. Lawson to approve it. Second by Mr. Brewer. All in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Next is the spring 2023 policy update. Mr. Bobby Locklear and Mr. Gentry.
Good evening again, Chairman Simmons, Dr. Williamson, board members. Our policy committee met on May 23rd at 9 a.m. We reviewed the policies that were updated and suggested from the North Carolina School Board Association. And at that point in time, upon review, the policy committee recommended that we approve all the revisions that were submitted by the School Board Association.
Any questions? You have a question on Dr. Main?
No, sir. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Gentry.
I'd just like to thank all the members of the policy committee and Mr. Bobby for their leadership in preparing for this and all that took place. And I thought we had a really good discussion and very fruitful. So just like to thank everyone involved.
Mr. Henry.
I make a motion that we'll accept the new policies recommendations through DPI.
Second.
That's a motion by the committee, recommendation by the committee. It doesn't require a second.
Got a motion made by Mr. Brewer. All in favor, by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passed. Next is the North Carolina utility easement at Lumpton High School. Mr. Bobby Lockley.
Again, good evening again. As many of us know that there's a lot of road construction taking place in Robeson County, and we believe this is the last one, or this is the last one we have at this point that's going to impact our schools. We have forwarded over the agreement to our attorney to review, and he has approved that agreement. But I just want to walk you through how this is going to impact Lumberton High School. And you should have a copy of this at your desk. I just got this today from the from DOT. So if we look at the green section, this is going to be Link Hall Road. This is Fayetteville Road. They will take out a corner where intersection of Link Hall and Fayetteville Road meet. So everything in the green under their proposal will become permanent ownership for North Carolina DOT. So if you've been by Lumberton High School and you see the white stakes, everything on the left-hand side of the stake is what they are looking at taking some type of ownership on. So this actually cuts in front of the LED diagonal sign that's there. So that particular sign will stay. The brick sign that sits closer to Fayetteville Road, which would be somewhere right along in here, that's going to be part of the property that they would obtain. So of course, the price for that sign is included in the dollar amount that they are proposing for this project. The orange section that we could see here would become a permanent utility easement. So again, it still becomes our property, but they would have utilities that would run under this section. And to give everyone a point of reference, this is actually the building. So there was some indication that Fayetteville Road was going to come within 10 to 15 feet of the building. That is not the case. They're planning on expanding Fayetteville Road on the opposite side. If you're familiar with Lumberton High, where the church sits and where those apartments are, is where actually the expansion of the road is going to take place. So on the opposite side, if we look at the bus entrance, and that's on the second sheet, that would only become a temporary utility, temporary construction easement. So again, this is that entrance to the back of the school. And primarily, according to the DOT representative today, this is only going to be used primarily to finish out these easements when the time becomes for them to work. It's my understanding that this project is still 3 to 4 years out. So it's not anything that we're going to see next week. So the proposal is, again, that they would take ownership of everything in green. Orange would become a utility easement. Yellow would simply be their temporary construction easement. And Cole, if you don't mind, if you will go back to number 1. So when we visited the property back in the fall, many of you are aware that there's a chain link fence that runs right next to Link Hall Road. During the research of this property, it is discovered the DOT already had a permanent easement there. They own that property. So that chain link fence, we will not be reimbursed for that chain link fence because the school made the decision to put it there. Now, we can make that, they're gonna take it down, or prior to them taking it down, we can have it moved. But the issue is that their easement runs all the way to the parking lot. So again, you know, once we start that work, that fence is gonna, otherwise prior to that work, gonna have to be moved toward the parking lot, or when they start their work, they will take it down completely.
How close is it to the parking lot do they own?
From what he shared with me today, that their easement comes within 10 feet off of that parking lot.
It's pretty close. Any questions?
So that is the only piece of property that they would take, that if we look at the 2 lump sums for us moving the sign out toward the tennis courts and what you see in the green here, that would be the only thing that is not considered reimbursable. And so what we're asking tonight, and the total price for this project totals $52,350. And
Go
so
ahead.
we're asking for approval tonight.
Go ahead, Mr. Gentry.
I have two questions. If I'm looking at the green and yellow colored area correctly, does that encompass some of the faculty parking lot?
I do not believe so. And again, this is not going to be something that they're going to close off. This is just something they're going to use as they work on their particular green part here. That is my understanding, that this is just going to be for them to come in, do the work on the green part, not to actually occupy the yellow.
Okay, but am I correct strategically that the yellow part is where the faculty parking lot is?
Yes, that's where the faculty parking lot
Okay.
would be.
All right, and I have another question.
Great.
And I think I already know, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. The brick sign that will be removed, is it possible, or will it be, or not removed intact and placed somewhere else, or just gonna be demolished?
That because they are assuming that property, then they are buying that sign. And with it being brick, I'm not sure that that's something that we could pick up and move. Of course, we could probably get the lettering off of it. But in terms of moving the sign, because it is brick, but we can definitely explore that option with our maintenance department. But it is a brick sign.
I do know that there's a plaque that's
Yes.
on the end of the sign nearest the road.
Key Club.
Yes. And it was my key club, by the way, that, all those years ago that established this sign. So at a minimum, that sign,
Yes.
that plaque can be removed and placed somewhere in the building.
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
The Department of Transportation will usually work with you on moving signs or the signage for the schools. That they usually work with you on moving that. Their offer includes buying the sign. They've got a value, or they've got a value assigned to that as part of this proposal, but they'll often work with you on allowing that to be moved.
Mr. Chair, if I may, one more question. I heard the figure $52,000.
Yes.
Okay, that's revenue to the school system.
Yes, that would go, Miss Erica, that we fill out a 10 W-9, and that money is funneled through their attorney then funnels that money back to Miss Erica.
And I'm gonna ask one more question. It can, and I'm not gonna talk about anything specifically, but can those funds, the $52,000, be earmarked upon a board approval for a special project related to Lumberton High School, since that's where it's coming from? Is that a possibility? Okay.
Yes, Miss Erica's shaking her head and she says yes, so we better run with that.
Okay, I think some of us have an idea in mind, but thank you.
Mr. Leach?
No, I just got a comment to make, Mr. Bobby. I want that chain link fix, I think is fairly new. So I want to explore the option of our maintenance department taking it down and moving it to proper saving, because pretty sure a lot of money was spent doing that and putting that fence up. So that's the only comment that I have.
And so Mike said he would allow us to move that back as close, well, on our property, get it out of their easement, because again, it should have never been placed there.
Ms. Lawson?
Make a motion to approve the North Carolina DOT utility easement at Lumberton Senior High School.
Got a motion by,
Does it need to have legal on it? Does it have legal on it?
This needs to be subject to approval of the contract with legal
Approval?
review, subject to legal review of the contract.
Subject to approval of the contract and
Legal
attorney,
review.
legal review. I got you, Mr. Attorney.
got a motion by Mr. Lawson to approve this here pending the lawyer's review of the contract, second by Mr. Leach. All in favor, saying aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is the budget amendment 2022. Ms. Erica?
Good evening, Chairman Simmons, Superintendent Dr. Williamson, and board members. I presented budget amendments for your review in your packet for state and capital outlay funds, and I can answer any questions. Additional budget amendments may be required because we tend to get funds or changes in funds all the way up through June 30th.
Make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman, the budget amendments for 2023, 22, 23.
22, 23. Got a motion by Mr. Lawson, second by Mr. Craig. All in favor, saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passed. The audit engagement by Peterson and Douglas. Mr. Erica.
So I have presented our audit contract for S. Preston Douglas and Associates to perform our annual independent audit for year ending June 30th, 2022. And I can answer any questions about that.
Motion to approve the audit engagement as Preston Douglas, year end 6/30/2023.
Got a motion by Mr. Lawson to approve the audit, second by Ms. Ocean. All in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passed.
That may also need to be subject to attorney approval, Mr. Schwartz, the audit contract.
Yes, it should be.
Yes, I'm sorry.
What we need to do though, we need to start labeling this if it needs and put me
I
a
will
star
definitely
over
in the
here so I know.
future, I will say
So we
pending
can,
attorney review.
so we can take care of it. I mean,
Got
yeah,
'em.
with attorney.
Got a motion by Mr. Lawson to approve the audit pending the lawyer's review, second by Ms. Ocean. All in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Micro purchase threshold increase for 23, 24. Ms. Erica.
So public schools and other governmental units have been authorized to increase the micro purchase threshold for federal programs and spending up to $30,000, which mirrors the state funding cap. And I have presented this will be the third year I presented this. So that means that as we move forward purchasing, anything less than 30,000 would be an informal, just quotes wouldn't be necessary. After 30, we would move forward through the informal, formal, and bid process, and all that is included in this document. And we are asking for that approval.
Mr. Gentry.
Should that also say pending legal review?
No.
No, okay, thank you.
I just want to make a comment that this is in accordance with policy, and of course, I know you reviewed that before you
Yes, sir.
printed this or made it public.
Yes,
But
sir.
I'd just like to validate that.
And this document was actually presented by Connor Cruz, who is an attorney with the UNC School of Governments. And we've had loads of presentations on this, and that each individual district can self-certify. It's not required, nor does it have to be approved by anyone other than the school board.
Yep. Mr. Curry's got a question. You had a question, Mr. Curry? Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Ocean?
No, I was gonna make,
Oh.
going to make the motion. I got to see it.
Hit your mic then. Go
I
ahead.
make a motion that we accept the micro purchase threshold increase.
Second.
Got a motion made by Mr. Don't have to. That's just, you know, you ain't got to look over that one, do you?
No, he's looking at me. He's looking at me.
I'd already asked Mr. Simmons. Yes, sir.
All right, got a motion by Mr. Craig Lowry, second by Mr. Gentry. All in favor of saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Mr. Lawson?
I also have one more, Mr. Simmons. I apologize.
Oh,
The
I'm
monthly
sorry.
financial report, I think it's on the next page.
Yeah, sorry.
Make a motion to approve the monthly financial report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, you got a motion by Mr. Lawson to approve the monthly finance, second by Mr. Brewer. All in favor, saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
I move that the Board of Education for the Public Schools of Robeson County go into closed session for the purpose of discussing certified and classified personnel, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and 6, and to consult with the attorney retained by the board in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the Board of Education for the Public Schools of Robeson County, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and 3, and to consider student matters that are considered pursuant to the North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and 115C-402 and 20 U.S. Code 1232G.
Got a motion to go in closed session by Mr. Lawson.
Second.
Second by Mr. Craig. All in favor, saying aye. Those opposed? Motion passed. We're in closed session for about 30 minutes. Got a closed session, Dr. Williamson. Ain't not hit the button. There we go.
Mr. Chairman and members, two actions tonight, one on the overall general personnel list, and then on recommendations for principalship, separate and apart. Mr. Chairman and members, I'm requesting approval of the personnel list as presented by Ms. Thompson, please.
Okay. Got a motion by Mr. Leach, second by Mr. Gentry. Mr. Terry has a question.
Just a comment, I'm going to recuse myself from this vote because my mother is on this list. Thank you.
Mr. Terry is going to recuse himself due to a family member for personnel. Mr. Lawson.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to recuse myself. My wife's on the personnel list.
Okay. Mr. Lawson is going to remove himself due to a family member on his wife on personnel. You good? Okay. All in favor of the personnel list as presented? All in favor by saying aye? Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion passed.
Great, thank you. At this time, I'm going to make recommendations for new principalships for the 23-24 school year. I will call each name and ask you to take action on that. I'm recommending to the board the approval of Dr. Anthony Barton, who is currently the principal at the Early College High School, as the new principal at Fairmont High School, please.
Okay, got a motion by Mr. Leach for Mr. Barton being the new principal at Fairmont High, second by Mr. Gentry. All in favor by saying yes, all opposed? Okay. All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
Great,
Okay.
thank you. I am recommending Mr. Andrew Davis, who is currently serving as Director of Curriculum and Instruction, as the new principal at the Early College High School, please.
Okay, got a motion to approve Mr. Davis as the principal of Early College by Mr. Leach, second by who's Mr. Brewer. All in favor saying aye. All opposed?
Great, thank you. I am recommending that Mr. David Otzendine, who currently serves as the principal at Long Branch Elementary, to be the new principal at Prospect Elementary, please.
Got a motion by Mr. Leach to Mr. David Oxnard from Long Branch to Prospect, second by Mr. Ocean. All in favor saying aye. All opposed?
Great, thank you. I'm recommending that Dr. Leslie Harris, who is currently the assistant principal at Magnolia Elementary School, become the new principal at Long Branch Elementary.
Got a motion that, by Mr. Leach, second by Mr. Gentry, that Dr. Harris be moved from assistant principal Magnolia to the principal at Long Branch. All in favor by saying aye. All opposed?
Great, thank you. I am recommending that Ms. Katasha Otzendine, who is serving as the assistant principal at Red Springs High School, become the new principal at Orem Middle School, please.
Got a motion by Mr. Brewer, second by Mr. Leach, that Ms. Katasha Oxnard, assistant principal at Red Spring High, become the principal at Orem Middle School. All in favor by saying aye. All opposed?
Great, thank you. I am recommending that Mr. John Avery Brooks, principal at Prospect, become the new principal at South Robeson Middle School, please.
Got a motion by Mr. Brewer, second by Mr. Leach, that Mr. Avery Brooks, principal at Prospect, be moved to South Robinson Middle School as a principal. All in favor by saying aye. All opposed?
Thank you. I'm recommending that Mr. Tommy Brian Freeman, who is currently serving as a principal in Columbus County Schools, become the new principal at Peterson Elementary School, please.
You got a motion by Mr. Gentry, second by Ms. Ocean and Mr. Britt. I'll write it down. You got a second motion? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to abstain from this vote because I've received, my role here is to represent the community, and I've received mixed reviews on this recommendation. And so but at the same time, I'm happy to work with Mr. Freeman because as the superintendent noted, the interview went well. It was an overwhelming decision by the group of representatives on the committee. So at this time, I'm just going to abstain from this and leave it up to the will of the board. Thank you.
Phil, hold on one second. I need to check your policy. Nothing I'm saying. Okay. Hold on one second. Your rules of order under your voting method say a board member must vote on all issues unless the member is not required to vote by policy, or the member has a conflict of interest, or the board member is unable to remain impartial in a judicial matter before the board. And if you recuse yourself from a vote, you must state the reason before the vote is taken, and that reason has to be recorded in the minute. So you can't simply recuse yourself. Thanks. You can't simply abstain, I'm sorry. Not unless you have a conflict of interest.
Conflict, gotcha. Thank you.
Got a motion by Mr. Gentry, second by Ms. Ocean and Mr. Trey Britt. All in favor by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Call for a show of hand vote. The motion was made by Mr. Gentry, second by Ms. Ocean, and Mr. Britt for Mr. Freeman to be the principal from Columbus County to Peterson. All in favor by showing your hands. All opposed? It's 5-4, motion passed.
Thank you.
5-4. Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. 6-4, I'm sorry. Mr. Brewer, Mr. Craig, Dr. Manuel, and Mr. Locklear. Yeah, I forgot to count myself.
Mr. Chair, members, I'm recommending Mr. Aaron Lowry, Assistant Principal at Fair Grove Elementary, to be the new principal at Deep Branch Elementary, please?
Got a motion for Mr. Manley Brown, principal at St. Paul's, to Central Office as the leadership coordinator. Motion made by Mr. Leach, second by Mr. William and Mr. Ocean. All in favor by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Okay. That's fine. We can let that. And then let's take a vote now on Mr. Lowry as the assistant principal at Fairgrove to be the new principal at Deep Branch, please.
You skipped one, Mr. Mandel. I'm
That-
sorry.
Just did that one.
Ms. Washington.
Oops.
Oh, I'm sorry, you skipped, oh, okay, I got you, see. Yes, I'm sorry. Need a motion for it. Got a motion by Mr. Britt, second by Mr. Leach, for Mr. Aaron Lowry, assistant at Fairgrove, to the principal at Deep Branch. All in favor, by saying aye. Those opposed?
Great, thank you. And again, you have already approved Mr. Manley Graham, who is currently principal, St. Paul's Elementary, to become the new Relay Leverage Leadership Coordinator. Chairman and members, I am recommending Ms. Lisa Washington, who is assistant principal at St. Paul's Elementary, to be approved as the new principal at St. Paul's Elementary, please.
Got a motion, Mr. Lisa Washington, assistant at St. Paul Elementary, to the principal at St. Paul Elementary. Motion made by Mr. Brewer, second by Mr. Leach. All in favor, by saying aye. All opposed?
Great, thank you. I'm recommending, Mr. Chairman and members, that Mr. Matthew Locklear, the assistant principal at Purnell Sweat High School, become the new principal at Lap and RAS, the alternative school, please.
Got a motion that Mr. Locklear, assistant principal at Purnell, become the new principal at Lap, RAS. Motion made by Ms. Ocean, second by Mr. Leach. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passed.
Great, thank you. Finally, I'm recommending Mr. Chad Brewer, who is the assistant principal at East Robeson Primary School, that he become the new principal at East Robeson, please.
Got a motion by Mr. Lawson, second by Mr. Britt, and Mr. Chad Brewer, assistant principal at East Robinson, become the principal at East Robinson. All in favor, by saying aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Great, thank you.
No.
Need to approve
Yeah.
approve the minutes and the closed session minutes. And the minutes of May, what is that?
May.
Of May 9.
Got a motion to approve closed session minutes of May 9th.
And the open session minutes, right?
Motion to approve the open session and closed session minutes from May the 9th and tonight by Mr. Leach, second by Mr. Gentry. All in favor, by saying aye. Motion passed. The legal issues. Go ahead, Ms. Curry.
Okay, that was a quick question. Do we have all the graduations covered tomorrow by board members? We got a board member at every graduation, at least one. I just want to make sure, because we got burnt with that a few years ago. Okay.
Mr. Trey?
I think on behalf of the board, we need to say congratulations already in order for the class of 2023 as well.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone? The manual?
And Craig brought this up before. Miss Erica, with the new debt ceiling stuff, are we in any kind of trouble with the COVID money? Are they pulling it back? I noticed all these people that we rehired. Did we know anything about that yet?
Yes, ma'am. I actually sent an excerpt from one of our newsletters out to everyone that none of the ESSER funding or any of the funding that has been received by districts is part of that debt ceiling approval. So no, we are not in any risk of losing any of the funding that has been allocated to our district for COVID.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Got a motion by Mr. Leach to adjourn, second by Mr. Lawson. I want to thank everyone for having the confidence that voted for me to be the chair. It's been a wonderful year. I really enjoyed it. And I thank y'all.
Who said you
And-
were going anyplace?
And as far as our middle school, Robeson, we kind of forgot a little bit about it, but it will be addressed at our next board meeting, which is in August. We stand adjourned.
Monday, 1 o'clock.